Well, yeah, obviously having her back and what she's able to create, you know, on the defensive end for us, and it obviously it adds a lot to what we're doing. It also gives everyone else to just play their normal role and not have to, you know, also do her part. So I was happy to hear, you know, that she was gonna play, because you know, with these things you're not quite sure how long it's gonna be. So really proud of her that you know, she wanted to jump out there just quickly. It's really good.
Geno, how would you say this team has come along defensively, and does it show signs of being one of your better defensive teams at times?
Yeah, glad you added that. At times, there are glimpses that we, you know, we can be everything we need to be, you know, to have the kind of success we want to have this season. You know, we're getting a little bit better at those things, at reading each other, making the right rotations, you know, doing a pretty good job of keeping people off the free throw line. So little by little, I think we're improving. We just talked about it in the locker room. To me, it's the one thing that you have to work on every single day in practice, the entire year. As you saw today, sometimes the shots go in, sometimes they just don't. You know, you get 10 wide open shots and none of them go in. You're going to have days like that, but as long as you can defend, you know, play good defense, rebound the ball, then you have a chance to win every single game that you play. So, you know, we've improved. We've improved a lot in that regard.
It seems like your defense even goes up another level when Blanca and Kaylee come in.
I think what's difficult for the other teams is, you know, you spend 5 minutes and KK's wearing you out, you know, and then you're kind of gassed a little bit, and then, you know, Heckle comes in and just keeps adding to it, and then you take out one of our other wings and bring Blanca in, who's longer and really athletic, and the problems change for the other team. They had a problem. If they had a problem early on, they have a different kind of problem when those two come in. So, you know, I think we're in a good place with our rotations, and I think we can, you know, we can get even better at it.
Sarah's been really good from three these last few games. Do you like her getting some more of those looks on the perimeter and taking some more of those?
Yeah. I was thinking about that. The last 3 games, specifically, I think, she's had a lot of opportunities, and she's taken advantage of them. She's really being aggressively hunting down those shots, whereas there were times in the games where she would be constantly looking to get a better shot, which I'm thinking, you know, that's a pretty good shot right now that we have. And I just think she's taken more advantage of it. And you can see it in practice too. When they start going in for her, they all go in, and she can't wait to shoot the next one. She's just got to get rid of that. If I miss, I'm hurting my team, which is, no, if you pass it, you're hurting our team the last 3 games. Sucker. I got mad at her for something. She looked at me like, what? I said, why do all your passes get tipped? Oh, it's almost like, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize all my passes got tipped the last 2 games. Yeah, that's how women talk to men. Oh, I didn't realize I was doing Who, me?
You know, you went small at one point with Sarah as a 5, then came back big with Blanca with the 2 Sarahs. Just what your thoughts on how those two.
Yeah, the coaches have been bugging me to, like, let's see what it looks like with both of them out there together. And I'm always like a little bit worried when they're out there together because they get in each other's way sometimes. But I think Jenna's getting a little more comfortable with the ball, you know, in the high post area. You know, I encouraged her, first time all year too, by the way. I encouraged her to, you know, to shoot that shot because they're not going to guard her, and she actually made both of them. And they do have a pretty good sense for each other, just from all the breakdown drills that they do with all the big guys. So there may be a time when, you know, you can go with a big lineup, and that big lineup might even be, you know, Jenna, Sarah Williams, Sarah Strong, Blanca, and one of our other guards, you know, whoever that may be. So they actually, you know, pleasantly surprised today by the way they handled that, and defensively too. Yeah.
Geno, you guys had, I think, 17 turnovers today. Early on in the game, I saw you yelling, shoot the ball. Was it just guys just not being selfish?
We had 10 in the first half. Then we had 5 in the first quarter. You know, it's, I can't describe it. I can't. We go from the best passing team in the country with the best, you know, assist to turnover ratio to all of a sudden, you know, just trying to make plays that are hard instead of just make plays that are easy, you know. I guess that's just one of the differences, you know, one of the not so perky perks, I guess. Coaching women's basketball at UConn, you get a lot of unselfish players, and we watch on the film and you point out to somebody, like, why didn't you shoot that? Well, you know, I thought she was open. Well, everybody thinks you're going to shoot it, so shoot it. You know, Sarah had one of those. You know, she spent 15 minutes yesterday just getting the ball up on the rim. Now she's got it, and she decides that she wants to throw it out. That gets a turnover. KK's got a layup, and like, you know, I'm thinking you get to the free throw line at worst. Nah, I want to stop, throw it to Sarah who's running 100 miles an hour in front of 3 people. Like trying to do things that are a little bit more difficult than they need to be. So it's a good problem to have, I think, that they want to be very unselfish, but there's a fine line there. Right now we're a little bit Zalanute, as Don Perlin used to say.
Jenna, no matter how many players you have, how much depth you have, there's always going to be that one player that you really can't replace, that you don't have a replacement for. Is KK kind of that player this year that for all the different things she does and her leadership that you just don't really have a replacement if she can't play?
Yeah, I would say that's, you know, you would hate to, you would hate to say, well, Sarah and AZ are easily replaceable, which obviously that's not what you're implying, because, you know, if for whatever reason, if AZ can't play, maybe Allie and those other guys make the same number of shots that she could make. So in KK's case, there's nobody else on the team that would be able to replicate what she does. So when you do have her in the game, when you do have that, she does become incredibly valuable as a tone setter, you know, that the game is going to start a certain way, that there's going to be a kind of a frenetic pace to it that the other team may be not equipped to handle. And she's grown up a lot, decision-making wise. She didn't shoot the ball great today, but she's been shooting it unbelievably good compared to, let's say, 2 years ago. You know, not the easiest thing to shoot with the mask on when you first got it, but yeah, I would say of all the players that we have, she brings a uniqueness to our defense and offense that we would not be able to replace, I don't think.
Going back to Jenna, what have you seen shift for her since the break, the way that her production has jumped these last 3 games?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question because she's absolutely horrible in practice a couple of days. And we were wondering as coaches, we're like, what's going on with her? Like she's, you know, pouting and miserable and, you know, just feeling blah. And I'm thinking, you know, I don't know, maybe something. But every time we put her in the game, she's not like that. So I guess maybe that's just her way of getting her game face on now, that there's a seriousness about her, that she goes after every offensive rebound. You know, she's very physical in there. And I'm happy for her because, you know, we talked about this a lot, you know, I didn't come all the way out here to not be a factor, you know? So and the coaches keep reminding me too, like we're gonna need her, you know, as she proved last year, she's gonna be really valuable. So I'm happy for her. Anytime she plays really well or has a good week of practice, I'm really happy for her and I feel better about our team going forward when she's like that.